Hey y'all, so as I'm driving home right now, I thought that I would just make a quick video, while looking straight at the road by the way, about why I decided to go to college. Now, I'm about to be done with my freshman year, and I always wanted to go to college as a kid, but mostly for like the culture of it, like I wanted to be on a fucking college basketball team or whatever, type shit. And I wanted to live in a dorm with all my buddies and, go to parties every night, that kind of thing. I did also want an education, but that was kind of secondary to the college culture. But as I got to be like a teenager, I started to be really rebellious, and I started to not care about school at all, mostly because of my abusive parents. And so, I didn't care about education anymore. I was like, college is for losers who want to be in debt for the rest of their life, right? And, as an adult, after I kind of grew out of that teenage angst, there's still a lot of evidence to point to the idea of college not being worth it, at least in the United States, where the cost of a degree is exceptional compared to a lot of countries that provide it for free. A lot of people would argue, why would an American even attempt that? Because there's lots of jobs that you can get without a college degree, right? And I feel like the sentiment of college degrees equaling higher pay is not only been somewhat disproven to a degree, but also people are just really disillusioned by that at this point, I think. I think that, people, were told by their parents, you got to go to college and get a degree, otherwise you're never going to make any money. And I think that a lot of people, either due to the cost of a degree or due to, the availability of jobs that don't require a degree, I think a lot of people have, given up on that idea. And I'm not saying, everybody watching this video needs to go out and apply for college right now and go into debt. That's not exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you feel that you would enjoy college, but you're not sure if it's necessary, if you can afford it, but you're not sure that it's necessary for you, I would suggest trying it out, because you can always drop out and only be in a little bit of debt. That's always a good thing. But I think that what made me decide to go to college wasn't because I thought that I needed it to get a good job, and it also wasn't exactly because of the culture thing of me wanting to, go out and party or make friends or whatever it is. I just felt like I missed learning. And, there are plenty of ways that people can learn that are not institutionalized. You can essentially gain the knowledge of a bachelor's degree or even a master's degree by researching on the internet or at a library. And if you really worked hard at it and quizzed yourself and all of those things, you could theoretically gain all of the knowledge of a doctor or a astrophysicist. But, you wouldn't have the degree to state that you learned those things. And on some level, I feel like that degree is enticing for me. Obviously, I'm going to college in order to get a little piece of paper that says, I learned this. And, on one hand, I'm like, that's, on one hand, that is something that is a little bit iffy to me, because, I don't feel like people should need a piece of paper to say that they're that they are intelligent in one thing or another. But on the other hand, something that officially says this person has received this much training and things like that, that is something that's, alluring. It's kind of like a medal or a trophy that I can hold in my hands and be like, yeah, some people don't get to have this, but I do. And, there's that sense of not superiority, but accomplishment. I want to be able to hold something that says, I did this, right? But also, this sounds really stupid, but hear me out. I wanted assignments. I am autistic and have ADHD, and so when I get bored or don't know what to do with myself, it can be pretty stressful and or send me into a downward spiral. So I either have to make tasks for myself to do, which is probably a creative task, like this video I'm making right now, or I have to just kind of float around and not have any direction to put myself in. And, part of that, that's a personal thing of me not having enough quote-unquote self-discipline to keep myself busy in that way. But I wanted someone to hand me a piece of paper that says, hey, you have a 10-page essay due next week on the state of the economy, or whatever the fuck it is, right? And, not that I particularly love the state of the economy or want to write papers on the state of the economy, but because I want to have something to do, and at the end of the assignment, I will be told whether I did well on it or not, and that will let me know if I'm learning the things that I am trying to learn. And, of course there's things in college that I have to learn, gen ed stuff, there's math courses that I have to take that I do not want to, things like that. So I'm not enjoying every second of it, all right? However, I acknowledge that some math is important, and I acknowledge that not everything that's important is fun. And as far as important things, I am enjoying my education that I allowed myself to go get. And if you are interested in doing the same, I suggest considering it. Have a good day, y'all.